Howdy doody, everybody. How's it going? Hey, Ryan. Hey, Julie. And hey, Hideo. So, man, how about that last week, huh? So I don't even know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna just talk about stuff. I'll say Monday, Adam is going to catch his breath from, yeah, and do all of the first events again. Yeah. So let's get the link to that. Here it is. Read more here. Today's general goal is merge PRs and plan content for Thursday and Friday. Hey, Kenkomatics. Okay, so yeah, that's this. For anyone watching this VOD who for some reason doesn't know what happened last week, I'm prepping for this week in the end. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And I'll talk more about that. But okay, so last Thursday and Friday, so Wednesday of last week was travel to Houston, and then Thursday and Friday were both the first events. And the people who are here now, of course, know this, but what I was doing there is content for this nonprofit organization. So some of it was building real life robots, some of it was question and answer panels, some of it there were interviews, and then there were the Botland streams that I did for these 2-hour blocks. And I think these went well, but originally the thought process was something like this. When I've been rated to the point where I have about 2,000 viewers, chat is nonstop and they have tons of questions. There are lots of people who've never seen coding before, and they ask things like, how do I get started with programming? What's the best college to go to? These sorts of questions that I just get constantly. And so when this happens, I want to usually talk to newcomers a decent amount. And so I have this dilemma between doing Q&A and not being able to focus too much, or doing the programming that I normally do, and then a bunch of people might just leave. So knowing this, when I've got about 2,000 viewers, that's what happens, I thought, oh, at the first event, they're going to have front page coverage, and I'm going to have like 2,000 viewers again, or 4,000 or 6,000. And it turns out that while the viewership number was high, the viewership engagement was incredibly low. So when we were planning for this, and we thought you could either go full on Q&A or at the other end of the spectrum programming, I thought, I'd shift it kind of to here, and so that 30 minutes of programming would turn into 2 hours of content. It turns out that 30 minutes of prep turned into like 25 minutes of content. And the reason why is because by preparing, I got better at it. So then when I was doing the content, it went faster. And then since there wasn't that viewer engagement that I expected, there wasn't really anything to fill that extra 1.5 hours. So thankfully, I really planned for something like 3 hours. I did 3 hours of prep, and it turned into, something like probably 2 hours and 45 minutes of content. And then thankfully that day I had Kipoga played Botland a bit. And so that kind of filled the rest of the time that we needed. So this took a lot of time to prepare for, and that's what we need to do in the next couple of days. Or we need to plan for something totally different. So I haven't actually talked to the executive producer about this stuff yet. So like last week was just Botland content plus 45 minutes or so of Kip playing the game. So this week could be mostly the same, or we could steer it more toward a tutorial or something rather than just BL coding. Hey, Leftchus, I appreciate your comment that day that I was wearing the microphone on my t-shirt and it pulled it down a tiny bit, and you're like, oh, it's a nice shirt. It's a V-neck shirt again. I wish I could have read chat more on those days. And yeah, do I have some player number stats? I can talk about this a little bit. The number of players of Botland, there were people who were pulled in from that, but it was probably lower. Every single number I think was lower than it would have been for a regular stream. So let me see if I can share this stuff really fast. I've got some of these. So this was probably like, I don't know, Wednesday, I'm just going to guess. And I kept track of all of my counts before the event. And then so after the first event, it was like 19 more followers on Twitch and minus 1 follower actually on YouTube. And I didn't really plug YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook at all. I didn't really care about that. And then on the next event, it got another like 17 followers, and I don't know. I don't think those are not like good numbers. Those are less than what I get on a regular day. And then the other stat I looked at was the subscriber count dropped by 25%. Actually, wait, is it 25%? I'll say like 20%. I don't know. Anyway, the sub count dropped a lot too. So my stats were all like way lower than normal. And I would have at least expected them to be probably like a little better than they were normally. Yeah, so, right, Hideo, that's a crazy number considering the event size. Yeah, so there are a bunch of reasons for this. One is that the site, or the channel was hosted on twitch.tv's front page, which has a couple of properties to it. One is that people are transitory there. You go to twitch.tv and then you go search for Fortnite or Minecraft or something else, right? So while you're there on the front page, you count as a viewer, but you're not watching. The second is that there's no chat. It's an embedded video player. So anyone who is there, who is watching and is like, oh, how do I find out more? Or just what's going on here? They need to go join chat. And they might not even have an account, by the way. Or they might not know how Twitch works or something like that. And that's assuming they're even interested in the first place. So the viewership was kind of high for those reasons, I think. But the engagement was low. But then the other thing is that the in-person audience, I was doing 2-hour segments. And I mentioned this before, but I'm about to draw something, drawing alert. So let's say this is the stage, and let's say these are all the audience members here, and they're kind of like, there were a couple rows of chairs set up, and they're facing this stage, and then here was the like gigantic TV on the stage, and here was the desk. These people who were here, this kind of looks like a smiley face. These people who were here would like come over and sit down in a block of 5 or 6 people for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and then they'd all leave, and then more people would come in, and then those people would leave, and more people come. So at any given time, the rows were, kind of full, I'd say. Like there were people there, but I couldn't just say at the 5-minute mark, like, oh, by the way, I'm making Botland. If you want to find out more, go to this. Oh, at the 10-minute mark, by the way, I'm making Botland, guys. So I would just be doing my coding thing, and people who were dropping by wouldn't know, like, what is he doing? Yeah, sure, it looks cool. I'm interested. I'm learning something. So it was valuable to them, I think. But for me, yeah, I couldn't just keep plugging Botland all the time. I didn't totally expect it to be like that. So I guess that's another thing. I guess learnings, unless I constantly remind people about what I'm doing or plug Botland, then new people who join will just be interested in what they're watching. So it's value for them, but not necessarily for me. Hey, Clayman. Inject. You enjoyed the panel and you think I did a good job? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's why so I had 2 major goals. The 2 goals were provide value for first and provide value for me, of course. So marketing for Botland. And I think I got the first goal accomplished. And I think that was perhaps the more important goal for events like this, because this can lead to more events. But the important goal for me, I don't think it was met. And so I mentioned this to the executive producer. By the way, his name is Jacob. I think Jacob's a cool guy. I don't think he's ever really dropped by the stream and said anything. And he probably won't this week. He's probably going to be super busy and traveling to Detroit and everything. But yeah, I mentioned this stuff to Jacob. I don't know if he'll be able to get back to me. And I don't think he'd have any problem with me changing any of the content. So if I was like, you know what? Yeah, every 5 minutes, I'm going to just remind people, here's what I'm doing. I'm here for Botland. He'd probably be like, yeah, that's fine. You were doing a good job at the first event. This is my assumption, right? I haven't actually talked to him yet about this. So from that point of view, I think it was good. And I'm on the hook for this week, and I'm going to put in the amount of work that I did for the first one. Now, thankfully, I don't need to do things like set up the laptop again. Time to roll. Thanks for resubbing, Respirato. I really appreciate it. In 24 months, too. Hey, trust me. I'm playing with scissors. At least that's a good conclusion, though, from a marketing standpoint, as it's just bad. Maybe you can come up with some changes, though I have no idea what. Yeah, so I want to talk about that a little bit, too. Yeah, stickers or poster board or something. So I had the shirt on that had Botland written on it, but there are so many kids coming by with their own team names written that Botland just sounds like it's another team name for this competition. And you're not going to go just Googling, like, hey, what's that person's shirt say? And WWAT, thank you too for resubbing. And Pro Sam, join the sub train. Yeah, so I was just saying I had like a minus 20% sub count. I think this is the reason why. I think that today, after the end of today, I have a feeling it's going to be like only minus 10% or something. And that massive dearth of subs would have been just because they were waiting for the stream to advertise it, basically. So thank you guys, Sam, WWAT, and Rescata. Would it be allowed to make the stand more appealing to people, like decorate it a bit? That would be allowed probably. I'm not positive because someone else actually came by from a team and said, oh, I'd like to put this flyer up for some like good cause. And they're like, no, like, I don't care if it's a good cause. I don't care if it's a personal cause. You're not going to adorn the stage with these things. So I don't know if I asked, given that I'm doing the segment, they might say yes. But even then, I still don't think it would change too much. But maybe that's just me. Hey, Thomas. Might want to think about a physical media package, even if you don't have something to hand out. Just a visual to say this is Botling, go to this link. Yeah, but again, that would help the in-person audience. What about all the people who are... Well, anyway, yeah, I think those are good ideas. I shouldn't say something like this won't work or something like that. Hey, Derek. Yeah, so some sort of physical media, whether it's stickers, pins, just handouts about how to play Botling. I think that could be helpful. Enjoy your thermal paste or whatever. Thanks for resubing. And then maybe just more frequent reminders about what I'm doing. Maybe once every 15 minutes. I don't know. It's mostly my personal opinion on things, why I check at conventions. Yeah, so the other thing, this convention center is like a mini city. So there's this like gigantic area that they have, and there's the main concourse. I'm going to do a terrible job drawing this. So this was like the main place where you'd see a bunch of people moving back and forth. If I had to say how many like people you fit side to side in this, it was like 10 people. So it's like a highway of people. And we were set up sort of over here with a stage. There's a bunch of like food cards here and here and here and here. And so people were walking by for food and they'd pass by the stage here and they'd be like, oh, I want to check this out for a little bit. Then they go get their food. Maybe they'd come back over to here and watch for a little bit. And then in here were all of the like main fighting areas for these robots. I say fighting, but it's not Botland. There was like play areas here. There's bleachers over here. And then there's all the like extra video production sets. So there's like a room here where production was. And there are so many people. And so this major section of this mini city is where all of the action is happening that the students care about. And so then this over here is where I was, and even letting them know that there's something over here, because this is one floor of this place. The next floor up had a bunch of rooms where there was like some career fair, and there's just tons of stuff going on at this event. Oh yeah, Raimo, I wanted to ask, how did your son end up doing? And hey, Blueberry King, the weekend was really just like recovery. The whole time was recovery. Man, I don't know what it was. My flight was scheduled to leave Friday. It was like 10 a.m. So if you're being really conservative, you might leave the hotel at, I don't know, like 8 a.m., right? I woke up at 4 for some reason. And I just couldn't get back to sleep. And I was super tired flying the whole day. So yeah, I was just trying to sleep and recover and rest. Yeah. I don't know if you wouldn't be authorized to do that, but like one match every 2 hours with 2 people from the audience, and when it gets a sticker, I'd participate for swag personally. Yeah, I think ramping them up might be... Oh, you're saying maybe they start while they're in the audience? Anyway, like I said, I'd probably be authorized to do almost anything that I want to do here. I think as long as I'm giving some value, and I don't think that'd be a problem as long as I plan this week. Lost the first semifinals. Oh, partner team didn't show. Maybe like a mini window that has like twitch.tv/Adam1351. That was something that I think they did a little bit of, actually, right? They had that banner underneath. So normally I have this area of my screen over here has nothing. I have just my webcam, right? And then the overlays that you see. And so I think they had my tag every once in a while. But still, oh yeah, like every 15 or 20 minutes, I see. So I could put something up that's a little bit more constant. The other thing actually is that, so I'm sitting there. Let me show you guys what my setup is. this is my house. This is not like that event. So I have my main monitor. You guys are seeing this right now. And then this is where I have chat and OBS. So it's split half and half. I have chat over here. I can read what you guys are saying. You always see me turn in this direction. I have OBS just a little bit further over. And so I can tell, am I blocking something? Like if I put this picture here, I know you guys can't see it. But at the event, I had no way of knowing, short of looking all the way over to the side to see the TV that was set up there, whether I was blocking anything. So frequently, I'd actually open something up and be like, oh, look, 1 + 2 is 3 or something like that. And there was some overlay that's blocking this from showing. And yeah, that was a little bit tough for me too. And then because I was in a different setup, this chat monitor was like off to the side, and it's just so much easier. My peripheral vision, I can see when chat bumps up on my monitor, even when I'm looking over here. But when it's way over to the side, I couldn't just keep going like this and like making sure the main audience is focused and everything. So I know I'm rambling about this, but that's because we're doing the event again this week, and I wanted to give you guys as much information as possible. I think what Blueberry King asks about, I should probably write something up and just say like, here's my take on this. So yeah, I'll write this down. And then maybe at the end of the day, I think I could do something like that. But Blueberry King, I don't have something like this now, short of the last 16 minutes of the VOD. Yeah, and the glitches, thankfully, weren't really on my end, I think. I just plugged in a laptop and plugged in HDMI, and then I was like good to go. So anything that you saw, I know people were talking about how the stream was turning blue or something every once in a while, but I had nothing to do with that as far as I know. And yeah, the stream cut out at one point. Again, I can't do anything about that stuff. I provided almost nothing. I got my keyboard and my mouse there, and that was about it. Now, the other thing is, I brought this kind of as a joke for you guys. This is not fun to travel with. This thing is huge, and I was just have my carry-on bag, and since it's not flexible, it's taking up a lot of space in my suitcase. So I don't think I'm going to travel with that this time either. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hey, Damage. And hey, Moon. Yeah, I had a lot of fun at the event. Man, I've never been to something like this before. So I've given talks before, I've done demos before, but I've never been in an event where there's like tons of people and I'm sort of on air. And I've streamed, obviously, for tons of hours, but yeah, I've never done this for another person. And that was quite an experience. So I'll tell you guys a little bit more. I don't know how interested you guys are, but I want to take today pretty easily. So if I end up talking about this for the next hour, I honestly don't care. So I'm just gonna warn you guys that we might not actually get to coding stuff yet for maybe another half hour or so. But I had a schedule. So at the beginning of the day, we had to meet at 8 a.m. There was a production meeting for everyone involved. And we were given a schedule. And generally the way this worked on Thursday was something like, I don't even remember. I had student interviews. I had the 2-hour Botland block. I had the Lego building with Kit Boga, and I think that was it for the first day. I'm not actually positive if there was anything more. So whenever you had something that needed to be on the main stage, you had to show up about 15 minutes early, and that way they could get you mic'd, you could set up your laptop, you could do whatever else you needed to do, and they would just generally know that you're there. So when you had something that, let's say, went from 12 to 2, and then you had something at 3 to 4 or something like that, you really had to show up at 11:45 and then really at 2:45. And so you look at this schedule now and you think, oh, there's like a half hour that got added, and how am I supposed to do something between 2 and 2:45? So on Friday, when I was like booked solid, I hardly left to do anything. I went to breakfast, and then I was like stuck in limbo for a long time. I managed to get lunch at like 3 o'clock or something, and then went on to the next segments. And so it's just tough. So that's why actually during my own 2-hour block, I had to like go to the bathroom, because it's just sometimes hard to set all this stuff up. So for me, that's all new. When I'm on my own stream, if I feel like taking a 5-minute break and walking like 10 feet down there to the bathroom, I can just do that. But here it's like fighting through a convention center of people. I first thought about the water bottle, was laughing, thinking you're crazy. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. But like I said, I don't think I'll be bringing that again. But I did definitely need to bring this keyboard and the mouse. Well, at least the keyboard. I cannot use that laptop one. Imagine how you feel having to carry your backpack to and from work every day, 5 days a week. I mean, that is, yeah, that is a thing. I had a bunch of stuff too that I needed to carry back and forth, but it's tough when you're on the hook for these things, I feel. You thought the segment with Kit was super fun? Out of curiosity, which one did you watch? because I think they realized like, oh, these two guys are friends. We'll just put them on every single segment together. So Friday I was on the hardware build in the morning with him, and then we did a Q&A panel on, I think it was careers in the 21st century. Then he joined me for the Botland stream. Then we did the software build for that, and we did the Q&A segment on making coding accessible. And then finally the Jackbox stream, I think. I think we did like 6 segments that day together. And hey, Damage, I see you're doing some kind of live event. Hope everything goes well. Yeah, thank you. Actually, this is another thing I want to say. I should write this in that write-up that Blueberry King asked for. So link to VODs. I don't know if I'm going to get the timestamps for these exactly, but if you go to twitch.tv/firstinspires, I'm not going to actually show this content on stream, so give me a sec. Let me find this. Videos. So it should be all here. Yeah, and actually you can see I'm in the thumbnail for this stuff too. So I'll link this in the chat. Although it's going to be a little bit hard to find the exact spots where I'm doing something. But yeah, if you go through this first VOD here, so I think these 3 VODs, you might find, yeah, so there's me coding Botland, there's Kitboga, there's Kit and me doing the Lego thing, and over here, yeah, we were working on the hardware build in the morning, and then we did a panel, and then there's me coding Botland. So yeah, these are the VODs you might want to watch if you're interested in that sort of thing. I think some of the segments are pretty interesting for you guys, and then some of them might be like, oh, okay, this is just like a stream for Adam, you know, the Botland stuff. And same thing actually with the coding panels. You guys can just ask me those questions at any point, so it might not be as interesting. Hey Exodus, nice to see the stream again. Yeah, I think this week is still going to be weird, and next week is going to be weird. So this week is going to be mostly prep, and then next week is going to be mostly vacation. I think I just, there's been too much work. What surprised me is they don't seem to have or advertise a lot of sponsors for this event, which is something people do. And yeah, actually that's true. But I think the reason why is because it's a nonprofit, and I think nonprofits in the US have some strange rules about this. I'm not sure exactly what, but for example, if I was selling items in Botland, I could not say like, hey kids, you can go buy items in the game or something like that. I can't say that apparently. So I need to say something like, you can play the game. And like, there are things to buy maybe, but yeah, I think they've got to be careful. And so I'm not sure if that's why you didn't see a lot of that. But I think that was refreshing. I think it's nice that it was just like pure content and the only person advertising to you was me. That's not entirely true, actually. It's like the hardware build that we did. You could go buy that kit and you can get those Lego kits and everything else. And thanks, Raimu. Yeah, it was really interesting talking to those kids because they told me beforehand that it was probably going to be like 80% high school students, but there are other competitions there too, like the Lego League competition. And the Lego League competition, I think, is like kindergarten through either 4th or 6th grade. Anyway, something like that. So those are like kids, whereas these are high school students. And talking to the high school students, man, they put a lot of time aside for this stuff. And I was pretty impressed. So I talked to one team and I said something like, you know, how do you keep up with this and your studies? And they said, well, it's difficult. You know, the person I was talking to was a senior, and she said that like, oh, I'm already accepted into a college, so I don't really need to do anything. So I can just spend 3 hours every day doing this stuff. But yeah, they're really passionate about this, and I think it's a great opportunity for them. So I was impressed from that point of view. And yeah, Raimu knows this because his son is involved, and there were a couple of viewers, I think, who are going to be involved in this too. But there's a lot of time and a lot of knowledge that goes into it. And just, I'm sure kids get nervous right before the matches start and like, how's this competition going to go? I talked about how tired he was and how much homework he had to do to catch up. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like almost exactly the same way. I was incredibly tired, and the amount of homework I feel is like, well, there are some bugs in Botland. There's still the content I need to do. There's still this next week. So that's why the overall schedule is this. Monday and Tuesday of this week is going to be planning, kind of just relaxing before the storm. Wednesday is going to be travel to Detroit. Thursday and Friday are going to be repeats of last week. So lots of content blocks on First Inspires. And then next week, Monday and Tuesday are either going to be either nothing, games, writing a talk, or yeah, that's probably it. probably know programming. I don't think I'd have the the mental fortitude to do that. This one guy walking around with a giant logo on his shirt for Botland, yeah. Yep. Yeah, you can't cross the line of call to purchase. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Should have the robot you made battle in the arena. Yeah, that was, I don't actually know if that'll be traveling to Detroit, but it was pretty cool to do that, you know? And we got feedback from someone afterward. She came up to us and she said, you know, no offense, it's obvious that you and Kipoka have never done something like this before, like making a robot with the hardware and stuff. She said, but it was really interesting to watch because that's the kind of experience that a lot of kids are going to have. I didn't take any offense from that because, yeah, I haven't done something like that. Hey, Freak Technique. Oh, teaching does not bring monetary value, but you'd be a great teacher, mate. Well, thanks, Entertainer. Yeah, compared to engineering, I think it is tough. I think engineers are pretty overpaid in the US, at least. And that's nice being an engineer. But yeah, switching from that to almost any other career is like, am I willing to take a 60% pay cut? Possibly more. So I liked this event. I'm probably going to like the Detroit event as well. I think the only thing that really threw me off about this last one is that tiny little production blip where the stream went down and I didn't know it went down. I know I told you guys about that, but I'll just say this again really fast. What happened is I'm there on stage and my block was from 12 to 2. And at 12:55, so about an hour in, they say, you've got a few minutes left. And actually it was, I'll just be more specific about this. It was 12:58 and they said, you've got 2 minutes left. And I'm like, what? Because I'm there with cameras pointed at me and I can't ask them like, wait, hang on a second. What are you talking about? You know, I'm like, I'm supposed to be going for another hour. You guys might have heard this. I don't know if the stream was offline for that time, but they say you've got 2 minutes left and I had another hour of content planned. I didn't even get to the Q&A. So I started like scrambling like, okay, let's just do the Q&A now then. So you guys can ask whatever questions you have. And then I see another person come over who she's never done content with me before, but she was another one of the hosts for that day. So I thought, oh, wow, this must be real then, because they said I have 2 minutes and here comes another host. So they're going to take over for me, right? So it takes about 10 minutes for me to finally realize that, oh no, I do have the full time and just go on like I normally would. By that point, the audience had already left and I was really thrown off for that whole time. So I go up and talk to the producer afterward and I asked like, you know, what happened? I was panicking because I thought I was supposed to end and I didn't really have to. And then I was thrown off from my task. And he said, yeah, so I said rewind 2 minutes because the stream went offline and I wanted you to kind of go backwards and do this content again. And I would have been fine with that, by the way. But he said there was a miscommunication and they told you to end 2 minutes early or an hour early. So then I sent out the other host to correct that miscommunication. And when I saw that host, I thought, uh-oh, it's really over. So yeah, that's the only thing that I think went wrong in my opinion. There were some other little things that are like not even worth talking about. Like you guys said, the screen glitches every once in a while. There's nothing to really do about that. Anyway, I think you also need time to think back about the event, draw conclusions, switch back to the usual schedule. Yeah, so I mentioned this is what the schedule is going to be. I think I already closed it. But yeah, so this week is pretty much planned. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to do. I already mentioned this. I've got that capture card. I could just play games or something on stream, or I could just do nothing. I'm honestly not sure what yet. So that's going to just be up in the air. And then the only other thing I have planned next is on Tuesday. What day is it? April 30th. I'm giving a talk at a local club about like my botland journey, essentially. So I might plan that on stream. A Just Dance stream. Beat left just at Smash. Yeah, so I might do something like that, and I'll play it by ear. Anyway, so that's my gigantic intro for today. Let's take a look at the PRs, I think, for today. Yeah, let's take a look at the PRs. So Hideo submitted something like 3 or 4 PRs, I think. Yeah, 3. So I think we're going to just look at all of these and try to merge them. Hey, noob. Another thought, maybe some music streams. You mean playing or composing? Because the only problem with those is that they're a little bit hard to set up. Because I have to move a piano, plug in the line in, like set up voice meter or whatever else I do. And then there's teardown too for those. But that is possible. Yeah. Hey, Skogel. And one of the things that Leftists would be happy to hear this. In fact, Leftists is probably the only one happy to hear this. But in that game that I made, Op Hog, there is music that plays. Actually, it just plays on stream. If you press the letter E when you're in the game. And I was thinking, could I convert this to Botland music? So it might be interesting. I'd probably just change the instruments around and maybe like clean up parts of the tune. But that'd be a more long-term plan, I think. There's also one in the Android repo and one giant feedback and one issue because I need an event. But the issue that you need an event is for a private issue, right? Can I show that on screen or no? Let me take a look. Looks like there are 2 that you commented on. Let me take a quick look off screen. Submitted a pull request disabling. This is Botland 291. That's one of these, right? Yeah, that's that one. You can show up, but it's not important for you. Okay, and let me take a look at the Botland. Oh, it's not showing up in autocomplete. I'll just find it through here. Where's the Android one? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Oh, so this is stream friendly, what you said here, right, Hideo? Because I found the issue that you were talking about. And I don't think there's anything private in here. Just gotta make sure though. No, I don't think so. Okay, it's stream friendly, yeah. Yeah, I wanna take a look at this too then. All right, so that's what we'll do today, and we'll plan some content. Planning the content will probably take at least an hour and a half, I'm guessing. But yeah, one of the things we could do for this coming week is steer things in a very different direction. You know, again, all First cares about is that in the end, kids are inspired for STEM fields. And I think almost no matter what I do that's even tangentially related to programming will accomplish that. So coding for Botland, totally fine. Saying something like, hey, I'm going to show you guys what Git is about and what Visual Studio Code is and how you'd get started with just JavaScript in general. Like, that's also probably totally fine. And it might be easier to do content like that. And then I get slightly less value, but I feel like the value I'm getting is already low enough where maybe I just steer it completely differently. But I don't know. Hey, Watcher. Hey, Tail4 Gamers. Do we count them as canon stream days? No. And Wednesday, there won't be a stream. So the Devilish stream will happen, I guess, next week. Maybe we'll just have you stream the whole thing. Watcher. Hey, Chihuahua. It'd be cool to get intro. Or you would be cool to get intro. Yeah, I think that probably a bunch of people might like that sort of thing. But I would need to change the messaging around this to something like Adam tells you good coding practices or something. And maybe that's less of a hook. I don't know. Yeah, no stream from the airplane. I wonder if you even could do that. Usually it blocks sites like Twitch. Okay, so there's a PR here too. Okay, so let's just write everything down. We're gonna merge PRs. This to-do list has just gotten crazy. So there's this one, and then these 3. And then one last thing, Hideo, if you're still watching, is there any order I should pursue this in, or are all of them fine in any order? Might be difficult for the audience though, as yeah, if you're not there from the beginning. Well, what I was thinking of as an intro would be more like talk about Git for 10 to 15 minutes, show some examples. Then talk about VS Code for 10 to 15 minutes, show some examples. Like talk about OS configuration for 10 to 15 minutes. It'd be something like that. I don't know if I want to do this though at all, but that way if you dropped in after any amount of time, you'd have to wait at most like 10 minutes to figure out what's going on. You don't think you order match? Okay, cool. Yeah, well, Maui, and that's what, so someone earlier asked, like, it was Ken Kamatic said, how are the numbers after the event? And Hideo said it's not really that easy to measure it. So there are the numbers that, yes, of course I can measure, like Twitch followers, but then that's not the full impact of marketing. There are now people who know about Botland who didn't know about it before. There are people who aren't going to end up playing for another week or so, or they're going to tell their friends about it, or I'm going to get an email in 3 days with some opportunity, or who knows what. So yeah, those things, I'd like to see what happens. It's kind of interesting because I made a marketing document where I talked about a lot of this stuff. And what I tried to do, and I realized this was a bad idea. Let's see if I can actually show you guys this. My goodness. This takes a long time to load. Okay, well, it's down here somewhere. Yeah, so I made this table of when did I do something, how long did it take, what did I do, how much did it cost, and my conclusions. But I also put this impact, and you actually can't, as you do a task, tell what the impact is for marketing. Because let's say you set up an ad campaign, you'll need to wait for the ad campaign to get some results for you to be able to tell the impact. So a lot of times I just wrote not applicable because it wasn't done or because it wouldn't have time to pay off. Oh, darn it. I remember something else I got to do. Okay. Just had to write that down. I think the content should have something to do with your own work. I mean, there are thousands of Git intros on the internet. Yeah, that's true. But this is something where it's like, you know, you're already there. I agree with you. But this is like, you're already there and you could benefit from this. But I could try to pepper that information in throughout the Botland talk where appropriate, just like I do on the normal stream. Thanks for resubbing, Noob. Welcome back for 30 months. Will Detroit also have the Alt-Tab glitch? What? Alt-Tab glitch? What are you talking about? Also, one thing I wish I could have seen is all the chat from the event. I'm not going to go back and watch all of the VODs and try to see the chat, but if anyone has just the chat logs from that event, I think it'd be kind of cool to see what people were talking about. Is when the screen would glitch blue? Okay, so I never actually use Alt-Tab, by the way, because it shows previews of the windows. So I don't, it must be when I do something else, like just switch windows or maybe hit like Windows key 1 or something. Yeah, the blue screen for a split second. That sucks. Yeah, and I'm sorry about that, guys. I didn't really have much of an impact there. Anyway, okay, let's read through this. So a little bit of research regarding this issue. First thought would be Android has a way to handle this. So first, let me just take a look. I'll try to explain the issue to you guys without showing this. When I try to log in and click on a text box, the keyboard appears, but it hides the field so I can't see what I'm typing. Same problem currently with feature requests. Okay. So after a bit of research, it has a way to solve this by adding one entry, adjust resize. No change, nothing is working. Let's do more research. This option can't be used in a full screen app. It's always been the case. Tons of people complaining about this for years. So we want a full screen app, but we want to show the proper content. So we want adjust resize. Being out of the box, let's try first to detect if the keyboard is toggled. It's not part of their SDK, even though people ask for this for several years and it seems to be pretty basic. Let's not throw the computer through the window though. Let's start looking for alternatives. Now I have a callback when anything is modified in the global layout of the app with a bit of calculation to custom code. Wow. Could somehow change the layout of the web view, scroll it somehow to make it feel nice. Ooh. Seems to work. Unfortunately, our scrolling calculations are very basic. It doesn't work well when there's more content. I see. Guess we could spend more time on these calculations. They'll work for every place. Fortunately, no. Some screens have not been designed to be rendered at a very small height. Okay, so it seems like full screen is what we want, but it's preventing us to have a proper layout. Should we continue without our custom solution and calculations and try to reinvent somehow? Send the keyboard event to the client, do something magical on the client. Find another solution I haven't thought of yet. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say, I think just what was showing in this video is not a bad thing. Like, sure, it makes the UI look a little bit strange, but how frequently would you ever do something like this? Yeah. Wow. Hey, Rensu. Yeah, the DevTools glitch was really strange. And what's weird is restarting Chrome didn't fix that. I don't know what that was about. Submitting feedback from the app was a terrible experience because of that bug? Yeah. Hey, Dracman, when I try to search for an app, the keyboard covers the results, so I have to close the keyboard, then see what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, geez, I think I'll write this down here. So my initial feeling is that the final video in the issue, the final video that you posted where the store UI gets cut off a bit is probably the best solution. It's usable even if it's not pretty. Hey Revrox, the event went well. I'm happy with how things went. I did not get a whole lot of marketing value out of it, which is one of the big reasons why I signed up, but hey, that's fine. Then we got more events this week. I'm gonna do a write-up of it at some point, maybe today, and share that out with you guys. This guy's 707. This is from the app. Okay, I'll write that down. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at this stuff almost at all yet. I feel bad about that. But man, there was like no free time at the event. And then Friday when I got done, I went back to the hotel room and I just like laid down for 3 hours. And then I went to sleep early. I had no more energy. So that's why I'm not going to do things that are too difficult today. We're just going to do the PRs and the planning and leave it at that. Okay, so I'm going to just comment this here and let's get back to the PRs, I think. So we'll go through these. Okay, if you do plan to release this without anything more, you need to either bump the version or ask me to do it. I wonder what that means. But yeah, I should remember this. So this fixes the issue most people are having when starting the application for the first time. I want to talk about it. The issue's commented, links and source, yeah. Starting the application without internet connectivity. Some handlers are called even though it doesn't make sense for me to call them when we get an error. They should be fixed, okay. External links are not handled properly. What's this? Oh, cool. Also that link, Vook. When opening one of these links, it also changes the left button to a back button. Okay, cool. Running Botland in the simulator. They're still working on it. A preview is already available in Android Studio. Oh, cool. Huh. Using it's a no-go, although I found a workaround today to use the Canary emulator without upgrading. It can be very useful until official support is released in a stable version. Huh, nice. Okay, so I think this is something that's helpful for me to save here. Sounds like something a bot would say. No, bots only speak in cactus emojis. You should know that, Reimer. Okay, so Hideo found out as of, what was the date on this? Where is the date? April 17th. No, that's not right. This one. And when was this? April 19th. Okay. 2019, that the... Hey, Benstrosity. That's just type the time you got timed out. It's because you're a spammer. That there's the new version of Android, or the Canary version of Android Studio has some support for this. And I'll just include the instructions here. Unfortunately, I think this is going to ruin the formatting. Let's try it out. So we say merge formatting. Oh no, it actually works pretty well. Huh, pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Okay, cool. So I want to look through the code here. I also want to figure out what this means. Let's put that there. Oh, I think he's saying inside the app manifest, which is the Gradle file or whatever. Yeah, okay, I'll take a look at that in a bit. But for now, let's just look through the code because there are only 2 files that changed. So I'm guessing it's not going to take us too long. Triggered when a new navigation request is about to be started in our web view. We use this call to prevent navigation for external links. Ask the user which browser to use. Huh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, nice. It should be 0.1.1. Well, and then I need to deploy the new app too, so I gotta figure that out again. I need to deploy the new version after doing that so that people can get an update. Maybe write a note about this. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so due to a Chromium bug, we currently have to ignore various errors, specifically the ones emitted when the web view thinks it failed to write an asset to the cache. That sucks. That really sucks. At the time of writing, whoa. This is no good, Hideo. You can't do this. That month doesn't exist. I'm sorry, I can't accept this pull request. All right. This currently only impacts Botland when loading the Lato font from Google Font. Okay. So I'll need to change this commit a lot thanks to this grievous error here. But I think we can do that today. We've got enough time. But yeah, I thought Hideo was a better programmer than this. Sorry, this is a lot's coming crumbling down in my own worldview. Yeah. What a shame. What a shame. Hey, Asus. How do I know it's not that? It can't be. That's not a date. You can't do that. Anyway, all right. So related to this, that's case we simply ignore it. Okay, so I will make some changes to this. First, I think we should just go get the code. It's somewhere over here. Botland Android app. There it is. So if I say git fetch Hideo, hey Coldfire. Yeah, this is ironic. Oh, hang on. I gotta do something really fast. I have my whole computer like set up differently from how I'm used to it. Let me just fix this. Okay. There. Hey, I see you playing. It's a date in my country. Oh no, I know exactly how the rest of the world does date formats. And thankfully here, it's something that can't be confused. So 19/4 can only mean April 19th because there's no 19th month. But yeah, if this were something else, I'd be a little confused. So I'll just change it to the longer format. It's gonna be a lot of months. That code like you. I think you might want to look at this stuff. DBJNR. And maybe also this command too, because there are many parts of coding like me, and one of them is getting some coding knowledge. The other one is maybe getting some operating system and text editor efficiency, and a lot of it's just practice. Okay, let's go get this. We're gonna load this up. So git checkout htfix cold start. Why can't I tab complete that? Oh, I'm in the wrong. Oh, I see. That's fine. Okay, so now I should have this file, main.activity.kt, and we'll load this up in Android Studio. I don't use a spring-loaded keyboard or anything like that. It's just a rubber dome keyboard. This may take forever to load. Yeah, whatever. We'll just kind of leave it at that for now. I could also just change it right in here. I think I'll wait for it. Yeah, let's keep reading. Okay, so if error code is cache miss, then just ignore it, especially if it's a TTF file. Okay. Why am I not rich from a startup? So I think this is the same thing as asking like how can a good person end up in jail and how can an evil person not end up in jail or something like that? If you even believe that this should happen, it's that let's say I was a genius programmer and I did everything perfectly. It doesn't make me a good marketer. It doesn't make me good at having product vision. It doesn't mean that, I don't know, I can maintain an audience even. So it's a combination of everything. And I'm not a genius programmer. So it's like, well, I'm not very good at marketing Botland right now. I think that's what it comes down to. And I'm learning. And I'll keep trying the rest of this year. And we'll figure out what happens. Okay, that's fine. Now, what is this? On-complete listener is gone. I don't know enough about Kotlin to know what this actually means, so I trust that it's good. All right, that looks good too. Get rid of the log.d calls. Yeah, cool. Useless import we didn't need? I see. Okay, so I should have this code over here. And this file is mainActivity.kt. So let's go to that. Let's close some of this garbage. And now let's fix the crucial bug. April 19th, 2019. Okay. Currently only impacts Botland. Yeah, cool. Now how do you align comments? I don't know, we're just gonna do it manually because there's only one word we have to fix there. Did you think about the Play Store translation stuff? I haven't thought about it yet, Kankomatics. I've been just pretty tired. Tired is how I'd sum up the weekend. Are there coders higher than your level? Yeah, for sure. What you see, okay, so what makes a coder a good coder is not something that you would see by watching the stream for probably even a whole day. Maybe you would after a day, but it's certainly not something you'd see in like 10 minutes because there are a lot of different practices that go into being a good coder. So what you might be commenting on right now is he seems to be knowledgeable about the tools that he's using. And in that case, like, yeah, sure. But I think anyone can get to that point after just using whatever tool they're using and caring a little bit about it. But that's not all it takes. Hey, Pablo. Okay, I don't think there was anything else I wanted to modify here, but I do want to bump the version of this. So I feel like I should make a commit that does that separately. So I guess let's go check this in. Yeah, I'll do that over here maybe. Ooh, that's not what I want. This is what I want. Yeah, then I need the passphrase. Name a genius coder? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it matters either. I don't think you should focus on like who's really good or maybe even, yeah, I don't think it's worth focusing on who. I think it's worth focusing on maybe like what are good practices that can lead me to that same thing. Okay, so let's go back to the Android app here. We'll see a difference right there. Oh, misc.xml changed? What? Let me look at this off screen. I don't know what it has in it. Oh, it's a line ending. Okay, whatever. Let's just check this in. Git commit. Let's just say git add that. Normally ignore .idea. Yeah, I'll just check in this one file, I think. Hey, Kumu. How's your day? It's going well. How about you? And yeah, DBJ, a lot of that. But it's... I think there's some things that are sort of hard to describe exactly. Like, let's say an easy to describe thing would be a good coder writes maintainable code. Now, what do you classify as maintainable? Well, probably something like a new person in the code base could come in and understand what you're doing pretty quickly and be able to make a change pretty quickly. And then there will be tests to catch any problems. Those sorts of things can be part of good code. And hey, Hoas. Yeah, there are coders that are really slow and they can still write great code. And there are coders who are really fast who can do really bad stuff. So we're going to commit this. And I think I'll say something here like just clean up comment. But then for the next one, we're going to change the version here. So let me find out where this is. Yeah, there it is. Version name. Is there anywhere else that version shows up in here? Probably a bunch of places. There's this one for sure. Is there anything else? Excuse me, I see a bunch of XML versions, but no, that's it. I think it's just that one. Okay, so I am going to write this down for somewhere here. Let's go to, I guess, these deploy steps and maybe write it afterward. So deploying a new Android version. So one, make sure, I'll say modify whatever that file is, app.gradle, build.gradle module app. Where is this? File path. That's not what I wanted to do. There. app/build.gradle. Yeah, so modify that to have the correct version number. Yeah, I think it's the only place. So I'll update this to 0.1.1. Okay. Do I have a Udemy course? No. It's not only a line ending? Yeah, I only looked at the end because it was highlighted. I guess the JDK also changed. Yeah, good call though. Do I watch any series like Game of Thrones? I think Game of Thrones is the only thing I'm really watching right now. There's a show I downloaded for the sake of watching on the plane called Huge in France. I watched an episode of this. I did not like it. It's about a French comedian who's like the Seinfeld of France. And then he comes to America and nobody cares about him. And it's just, it was not interesting at all. But yeah, I'm watching Game of Thrones with some friends and my wife. I've only seen season 7 and now the 2 episodes of season 8. So I just skipped the rest of the show. All right, anyway, modify this file. Next up would be to go through the build steps, go through build/deploy steps here. Not sure you can compare him to Seinfeld though. Is he a real person? And the show himself, he says on the show, I'm like the Seinfeld of France. And what movie is this? It's not a movie. It was called Huge in France. You have to sync too. Yeah, I have to do the build steps. That's something that I wrote down somewhere else though. At least I think I've got this here. Building a release or production version. Choose release. I think this will do what needs to be done with syncing too, but I'm not positive. Yeah. And this note. Hey, I see you playing. And take care, Kincomatics. I think that's all we need to do. We should also, I guess, commit this. So that's gonna be loud. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll just commit this. Git add app build Gradle. Wait, so he is a real comedian? Because I didn't like the show at all. Wow. He is, I guess. Yeah. French, Moroccan, and Canadian stand-up comedian and actor. Okay, yeah, I'd never heard of him. I guess the premise of the show is correct. The whole, it doesn't matter how big he is in France, he had no presence in America. Oh man, hey Jesse. Not his best days though. Well, yeah, I thought the show was boring. Then again, I don't like a lot of shows on Netflix. I've tried a bunch of different ones and man, I think they just put anything on there. So we'll say here bump version to 0.1.1. I think that's it. We'll push this back to the pull request. So git push Hideo. Yeah, one of the things I didn't like about the pilot specifically is there's this. I shouldn't say this stuff. Never mind. It doesn't matter. I just didn't like the show. That's what I'm saying, Toulouse. How's it going? All right. So Android app, we should have my commits in here now. Yep. And that's pretty much it. Then we just merge it, and I'll push this later, I think. 1,000 yards there. It's PTSD. It's all right. Deploy Android app today. Going good. Glad to hear it. So I'll merge this pull request. Fix various issues too. Is that what the title of this is? Yeah. Okie dokie. Cool. All right. So I think that one's finished. So deploying the new version, I will do that later. Next up is this. This is in the main app code. So let's see what this has. This is add device info with feedback. Yeah, this should be pretty simple. In fact, that should be like 2 lines of code, I bet. Yeah, it is. So put everything from device reducer in there and blacklist the ID and the token. Okay, so let's go look at the device reducer and see what's in it that's actually going to make it there. We're going to get is on mobile, is on tablet, client version, last action was touch, is on app, app type. Yeah, that's really important. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. And is there anything else that needs to be blacklisted here? These are definitely private, I'd say. But the rest are just like true and false. Yeah. The only thing that's not a Boolean, I think, is this, which is not private. So yeah, we're good. All right, good job, Hideo. Oops, clicked the wrong thing. I meant to click conversation. All right, so this pull request adds more device information, including the device. Yeah, cool. Okay, I don't even need to do anything. I just click merge and I'm done. There is one thing we can go do as a result of that, which is to cancel the Circle CI run. By the way, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on stream. Circle CI sent out an email, presumably to all of their customers, saying, we've had some slowdowns in the last few weeks. The volume of requests went up a lot, blah, blah, blah. We'll try to fix this. So, yeah, I don't know. That's cool, I guess. I think it's nice whenever a company acknowledges something like that rather than just having degraded service and not even saying anything. Granted, I have a different issue with the site right now, which is that whenever I do something that I expect to have happen in real time. So for example, let's say a new job rolls in, I sometimes don't see it here. And Hideo says he doesn't have that problem. And so I disabled ad block, but the rest of these extensions shouldn't have any impact on here, like Honey and GitHub and Dark Reader. That shouldn't change things, I think. Check this last one maybe. The other one is very small too. Check this one last. Oh yeah, I read that backwards. Okay. So the other one's small too. Let's go take a look at that. Disable orientation locker on app. Pull request disables a warning that can be displayed by our orientation locker. They enforce the orientation, so we don't need it. We should avoid issues like 91, which are due to screen orientation not being supported in WebView. Oh, okay. That's a little weird. Oh, whoops. Oh my God, sorry. I'm not supposed to show that on screen. Thankfully, in this case, it's totally fine because this is Playing with Scissors' account. And he reported this on Discord, but I didn't realize this was the private issue tracker because I thought to say something like 91, it had to be in this repo. Okay, well, no harm, no foul. You gotta be careful of that in the future. You had Honey make it impossible to load a complete website, one where you couldn't even enter any coupon codes. Really? So then Honey could have an impact here. I wonder if I should just disable it or only have it on certain sites. Anyway, thanks for telling me about that. I should look into that. Your lawyer will know about this. I'll countersue you. Okay, not being supported. Yep, cool. So it should be pretty straightforward, right? Yeah, if we're on the app, return null. Sounds fine. Great, looks good. I don't really have much to say about that. Where did the PR go? I closed it. No, that wasn't it. It was this one, right? Yeah. So we'll go merge this. Oh, wait. Let's disable Honey first. Let me go do that in a different thing. Although, can you have Honey just run on certain websites? How do I control this? On specific sites. Add a site. I guess Amazon.com. I care about it there at the very least. Yeah, there. Okay, let's try this. You can't countersue the counter. That's not how it works. Each smash character only gets one being down. You can't change it. Okay, so now I go back to Circle CI and hopefully. No, I don't think there's anything. But then again, I see that this is Honey wants access to this site. No, bad Honey. Okay, well maybe I had to refresh the page first in order for this thing to not be there. I don't know. Maybe close the private issue when merged. Yeah, good call. Then close private issue number 91. Hey, Fletcher. Okay, so now there's this one, documentation improvements, and this has more files that were changed. Adds various quality of life changes to documentation. So there's spacing now, that's good. And I don't recognize anything else in the picture, but he definitely says this stuff down here. So an element can now have multiple example snippets, code and blockly. Can is important. It is totally an optional feature. Current syntax didn't change. It's only an addition that we can use when we want. For code, each snippet will have its own tags, params, and return value. Each snippet can be individually copied to the clipboard. This might make things... This might make me do a lot of work now. Because, yeah, before I had to consolidate all the examples into one. Yeah, so now I'll have to split them up. So maybe it's worthwhile. Oh, you did the work? Why? You didn't have to do that. I was going to open source this at some point. All right, well, thank you, Krasner. I'm burning to you too. Man, Hideo, you said you spent like 2 days working on the Android issue, right? I don't want you to have to work on documentation. Like the actual, like this stuff. I don't want you to ever have to write that. I'm not open sourcing Botland. No, sorry. To be clear, what I want to do is all this documentation that we have, so something like functions.toml, and we say something like, okay, get x, gets the x coordinate. If this can ever be cleaned up, I think I want to leave that to the community. So I'd probably put all of this into a GitHub repo at some point, and then have some build process for myself that can run through this, and then put guidelines for how you guys can contribute to this. So yeah, I think I'm going to open source this at some point. However, we haven't gotten there yet. But that, yeah, something I think should be done. To a proper spec, took me 30 minutes to convert everything, so it's better this way. Okay, 30 minutes isn't too bad, but still. Hey, Haxify. Yeah, how have you been? All right, so for code, each snippet will have its own tags. So we can copy to the clipboard. Yep. Can be written as the following. Notice this instead of this. Which render is that? Yeah. Yeah, so some of this, I'll need to look through the documentation really fast, I think. Hey, Sharky. Yeah, still going on Botland. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. And the roadmap kind of talks about this a little bit too. You can help with that repo in the open source. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, people like you and Raimu have offered to help with something like that already. And I've specifically said don't do it because obviously we didn't have this feature in the game yet. But now that we have the feature, yeah, one of the next steps can be to open source that. And I think I have this written down already. Yeah, I do. So hopefully when I come back to real coding in the next like 2 weeks, I remember that. Oh, nice. Description is now slightly indented. Perfect. Okay. Okay, code indentation. Code is now properly respected. Good. I've prettier ignored doc.json. It's a useless step, losing time for no reason. Oh, cool. Hey, Dabledore. Welcome back. Thanks for resubbing for that 9-month special resub. And how was the event? It was good. I think if I were to give just a very short summary, let me write this down for right now. So short summary of my experience at first. It was fun. I think I think First was happy with my participation, and the marketing value was not great. So yeah, that's the short summary. I'm gonna probably write up a longer summary today and then share that out with people. Although really it's only gonna impact, like, I'll put it on Discord and I'll put it in the stream tomorrow, I guess. Also a side project where you can edit this in a proper UI and it generates the toml, not ready for it. Wow, yeah, that's crazy. I was gonna say, you don't have to do that. I think what would make it really good is for Blockly. I don't know if that's part of the plan, but that way there's not a lot of like copying XML and making sure it's got the right IDs and everything. Anyway, yeah, short summary of that is there. I talked about it a lot in the first 15 minutes of the stream. So if you're the kind of person who likes seeing VODs, then that might be good to watch. Otherwise, yeah, I'll do a write-up. Okay, copy Blockly to clipboard. Started the investigations regarding the issue. It's not looking good. There is no copy paste in Blockly. Yeah, it's implemented as a duplicate selected block feature when hitting Control-C and Control-V. Fake copy paste using duplication doesn't work between workspaces. Yep. So far, I have no idea how I'll be able to tackle this if this is not possible. If this is even possible. That's the point of the investigation. What I've seen in one issue talking about it, it could be a giant global refactor of block. They'd even support that, but we'll see. Well, what I was thinking is we can just modify the XML text in the workspace, and that would be like a paste. So for example, when you press Control-C, or well, when you just click the copy button or duplicate, there's no icon here. Okay, I don't know. Click the copy button. It would modify this Blockly reducer XML text. So you wouldn't choose where to paste it in, maybe, but that could still work. So it wouldn't really be a copy button, I guess. It would be an add to workspace button. Started with this too, but Blockly doesn't like it yet. We'll see how it goes. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and it's not probably a super big deal yet, because one of the nice things about Blockly is that it's not too hard to search for those blocks. You don't have to type too much in. There are some validation issues. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe they could, oh yeah, I guess let's just kind of see what happens. Okay. Code highlighting, as you added code example with sometimes more than one function call, it made sense to enable syntax highlighting. Nice, yep. Is not present at all in this PR. Having an instance of code mirror per example is too much. Only 2 or 3 it's fine, but it doesn't scale. Once rendered it's fine. The actual rendering is switching almost 10 seconds. Wow. Trying to reduce code mirror load, although not optimistic. Code mirror is huge. It's a nuclear reactor. Switch to Monica. Is this the Microsoft one? Because if so, that was already kind of on my plan at some point. Yes. That's written down. Yeah, consider switching away from CodeMirror at some point. They're trying to raise a ton of money. Are they still doing this? We're rewriting CodeMirror. The future. Where did they mention the amount of money they're trying to raise? Raise money for another year of work. Seems like... Okay, fine. It's useless in our case? Oh, CodeMirror is? Or Monaco? Well. Oh, it won't help for the doc. It won't? There's no just like easy code rendering blob? Because I was going to say some people have... Let me see. Let's see like code syntax. I'm not sure what I'd be looking for here. Nah, it doesn't matter. Let me read through the rest of this. Do the syntax highlighting when generating the documentation. Find a way to ship this to the client. Directly render without CodeMirror. Doable, although I have no way yet to know if it'll be worth it. and not too much extra data. Have to benchmark this. I don't think this is probably worth it. In fact, if you don't even have syntax highlighting, it's not a big deal. Talked about it after you stop. 10 Monaco instances is too much. Yeah, this is what I was thinking maybe. Yeah. Okay, well that's good. I think that makes sense. So now let's look through the changes. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So documentation code example, copy to clipboard. Wait, what? Yeah, what? Didn't we already have this button? Am I going crazy? So if I go to any code editor and I click this, there's copy example. Oh, we can, oh, right. Got it. So I should see the old code here somewhere, right? Yeah. No, that's the new code, sorry. Oh boy, I don't know. All right, yeah, I'll look at this again. Oh, right, I see. This is now per example, not for the block rendering what this example was. Got it. Okay, seems good. That's, I'm guessing, a tab character. Is that right? I don't know. Hey, Liam. Okay, this looks good. Documentation element, copy a text to the clipboard. Well, first we should probably just go pull this. Yeah, just render auto fix everything. React has that, right? So git fetch Hideo. And hey, Granny said, is it only used for syntax highlighting or is there more functionality? It's also used for editing. And it's got a bunch of like keyboard shortcuts and like, what is it? Annotations. Yeah, there's a lot of other things. So it's used for everything you see here. So if I do something like fire lasers, it's fine. If I do something like fire flamethrower, it'll say it's on a function. It's got this highlight stuff. Hey, Nick. Welcome to the stream. By the way, for anyone new here, do check out that command that Nick just pasted in. I'm working on a game. This week is going to be very different from the normal stream content. Except for this. This is pretty similar, actually. But I'm going to be planning a lot for the events I'm going to be traveling for this week. I'm going to be going to Detroit and working on another event, just like I did last week, where I went to Houston, where I'll be producing content from first is an acronym in this case, from first main stage. So it'll be just like last week. And then the week after, I'm just going to be dead. So expect me to just broadcast a little tombstone for about 2 or 3 days. Oh, and Julie, thank you. Welcome, Flame of Scissors. Welcome back. Thanks, Aunt Julie. So copy text to the clipboard. This is what I wanted to get. Git checkout HD doc additions. And now we'll go to documentation element. There. Is first paying? Yeah, yeah, they are. And hey, knowledge. Just talking about documentation because it's oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, no, you're correct. It is just for syntax highlighting. Yeah. And actually, that's another point that could be done. Hideo talked about this here, which is do the syntax highlighting when generating it and find a way to ship this to the client and directly render it. So yeah, originally I took this to mean let's write our own special thing, but we could probably use a library that exists that'll do the syntax highlighting. Now, how much overhead it'll add, yeah, I don't know either. Although really, if you're clicking the documentation button, is it that bad to load more examples? I don't know. Is CloudFormation total garbage? I've never used CloudFormation, but I have used Terraform. Here are some ducks for you, Aunt Julie. They're saying your name. Quack, quack, quack. Okay, so get rid of this because now it's in the example. Good. Yep. So snippet. This is not an array. Make it an array. And then go through each one and make it a documentation code example or a block example. Makes sense. Hey, Quack, man. Did I come back today? Today was Android mostly. Wait, Hideo, I thought you were taking a break from all this stuff. I mean, I know that that's obviously not the case because I'm looking through PRs that you wrote, but you mentioned 6 days of not doing stuff, and there was 6 days haven't even passed, and you did a bunch of stuff. So I think you should just stop working on Botland for the next week or so. But maybe there's a miscommunication. But yeah, I don't expect you to do this stuff this week. The only thing is, I was gonna send Hideo to a training seminar on how to write date formats. Man, it's one place where he needs to do some work. 3 days during your event and incoming 3 days. Oh, is that what you meant? I don't know if we're backtracking here. Okay. Hey, Swaggy. Swaggy, how's the JavaScript or Java stuff going? Hopefully better. Okay, so a lot of these examples changed. I'm going to just look through this in the game. Yeah, I'm going to do this in the game. Wait, am I thinking of somebody else, Swaggy? Weren't you working on Java and playing League of Legends? I might be thinking of somebody else. Okay, I am thinking of the right person, as evidenced by your last message. But you said you were struggling with Java, I thought. So I meant the Android issue with the Chrome bug was impacting a lot of people, considering the time it took. I'm glad I did that. Yeah, well, thank you. And I think that by the end of today, that'll hopefully be deployed. Speaking of which, I'm really hoping Apple gets back to me today, although I am kind of bracing myself because I feel like they're going to say, sorry, I just checked my email to see if they got back to me, and I saw another email that's very intriguing, but I'm not going to read my email while I'm on stream. Yeah, so I hope they say that I'm on the store, but I have a strong feeling that they won't for some reason, and then we'll just try to fix it. Anyway, we're going to check this in. This is a really minor change. Fix comments. And I think that's it. Now we'll just look at the documentation. I actually will probably end up changing some of this documentation. And I don't know whether it's worth doing on stream. I don't know whether it's worth doing at all, actually, because I might just open source this and let you guys change it. Sorry, that sounds really bad. I'm farming out work. Oh, yeah. Well, how about this? Let's take a quick look through it at things like this that definitely did change. So with coordinates, I think is probably still a good thing to have, maybe. With target entity, yeah, I think this is fine. Now, there are things like this that I think are probably not needed. Like if specified, you don't need to specify X chord or Y chord. I think what we should do is change this now to say something like and teleport, actually, you do need this. But this is probably unnecessary. Like you don't need an X coordinate or Y coordinate because it's just one argument. Maybe not though. Maybe not. No. Hey, Suvi. Okay, well, yeah, let's just scroll through this and take a look at any of these ones that now have 2 examples. Yeah, I guess this is fine. What else? Pursue bot. Yeah, same thing. Pursue is the same thing. Okay, I guess I don't really care too much. This is strange. A photo attack is specified. You don't need to specify direction. So I never even included an example with direction. Huh. Yeah, I should probably do that. Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I figured, Hideo. And that's fine. And I'm the one who wrote, I think, all these things originally. Yeah, it's on the Google Play Store. There will be a new version today that's going to fix a couple of little bits of the experience there. Yeah, so this does take in a direction. So, all right, I'll fix up. I don't really want to do this right now. I'll fix up maybe this. Yeah, this isn't great. I don't know how much time I want to put into this. Let's see. I'll just go to Melee again. Does it fix your bug? I don't remember what your bug is, Knowledge. Alpha Store is still an audit. That's correct, yeah. Instead of put the time into open sourcing it. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. I was just going to fix up one or two things, but I don't think it's super important. Anyway, as far as putting the time into open sourcing it, that can't happen today. So let's just check this in for now. So this one, whoops, this one is done. And I committed everything, right? Yeah, so I just need to push. No new mic, folk. I've been using the same mic actually since the first day I started streaming. Guest being asked to verify email. Oh, no, I don't think it does. But I'm not actually sure what the bug is. And in fact, I'm not going to be looking into this stuff probably anytime soon. I know it's really important for the app, but it's just not something I think I have the time or energy to do yet. I sound a bit different. Huh, that's strange. Yeah, my microphone volume should be almost exactly the same, and my mic is the same. Should I link to Google Play? Yeah, so that is true. I want to do that, but I wanted to do this once I also had the iOS app as well. So for right now, I think I'm okay with it saying at the bottom, like iOS and Android apps still coming. I sound tired. Oh yeah, but that wouldn't be a microphone difference. That'd just be my general demeanor and tone of voice, I guess. I am tired, by the way. I've been sleeping well, and I've been sleeping for the right amount of time, and I think I'm just in this deficit for the last few days. So a lot of people, I think, get this a little bit mixed up, but the difference between introverts and extroverts, actually it's people spell like that. So the difference between these two categories of people are kind of how you get your energy. So extroverts get it by being around people, and introverts get it by being by themselves. And a lot of people kind of get it mixed up with like, are you a social person or not? I'm a very social person, but I for sure am like an extreme introvert. So being on those streams on Thursday and Friday, like I don't want to sound conceited here. I think I did a good job, but I think it took as much out of me as it possibly could. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of paying the price for now. That settles it, Jesse. Actually, I think that's a good thing to do. Just base something on Google results if you're looking for a convention. So for example, like, is bus driver one word or not? Those sorts of things. It's like, well, search for them both and just take whichever one has more results. That's the one time I think you can base it on that. All right, so we'll just check this in. And I think by kind of lagging behind a little bit here, that, oops, that wasn't the right one, this one, that this already ran on Circle CI. Yeah, good. So we're gonna see my silly commit fixed comment. Yeah, I'm gonna merge this. So in order for me to do the Android deploy, that on its own can be done, but since there are documentation improvements as well, actually, let me take a quick look at this. What else did we fix? Yeah, this is part of the app work, I think. And then add device info with feedback. This one should probably be there. Let me take a quick look at this again. This is what fixes that bug 91, I think. Yeah, fine. We'll do a deploy of at least the client then. Yeah, so I'll write that down too. Hey, NSO. Deploy client as well. All right, so now all we have to do is the planning. So look at attack replay features and time everything. Hey, Ayush. Is this whole botland code on GitHub? It is, but it's not public, if that's what you're asking. Yeah. So first development planning. So reaction messages when you've been attacked, we could do that. So hey, if I filter, here's the goal. We have this straw poll that you guys already took. I'm not going to link this in the chat again because I already got the answers that I think I needed. So we did this, add a new weapon in the game. We did taunt messages. We did add a way to get revenge on people who attacked you. So the top 3 out of the 4 were done. We cannot do this first one, reaction messages when you've been attacked, without having replays shareable and an attack log. So we're going to look into this one, the ability to share replays with other players. Did I write that down already? No. Okay, so there's going to be that. And then there's going to be, where is it? Where's the attack log? Did I write that down? I think that was just part of this. Yeah, I think it's just part of that. And then we'll try reaction messages for those. That'll be interesting, that's for sure. Okay, so ability to share replays. We're gonna just write start time and we're gonna get to it. So design. So I think there are really 2 components of this. One is having replays, having attack replays show up for a user would be nice, because those are probably the ones you want to share, especially because those are the ones you want to share. And so the UI for that, we could just have like attack entries will show in a faint red for now, just to indicate that. And they'll have a replay button and everything else should be pretty much the same. In fact, this might not take very long to do that part of it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the actual sharing aspect. So how should that work? I feel like it should give you a link directly to that replay. So there should be a copy link to clipboard button maybe. Or well, like a share button, I guess we'll say. A share button next to the replay button that copies a link to the clipboard. You think the choice of a programming language for a project matters as long as it's reasonable? I think it matters a little bit, yeah. And for a bunch of different reasons. One of them is, let's say you picked a really esoteric language and it was still valid. So I don't know, let's say it was like Objective-C before it became popular for iOS. You need maybe to hire more people now, and then you'll have to teach them all Objective-C. Whereas if you picked something like, again, I'm just making up things here, like you pick something like Java, there are maybe more Java programmers than there are Objective-C programmers. So for something like that, it could actually matter in a way that isn't exactly like, does the code run, does the program do what I want it to do? So I think language choice does matter a bit. I don't think it's super important, but I think it does matter. It's already popular due to macOS. There should be a share button next to this. It copies a link to the clipboard, excuse me, and then navigating. Thank you, Buff Siegel. Yeah, I did. Man, I had kind of a funny experience at the end. There was this guy. I got an Uber from the hotel in Houston to the airport, and it's about a half-hour drive. Hey, Andor, those are new emotes I haven't seen used before. Anyway, this guy is talking to me the whole time, and he's like kind of talking at me, and he's a nice enough guy, but he'd do these things where I think he just wanted to tell entertaining stories. And so at one point in his story, he's like, oh, you know, how tall are you or something? And I tell him, and he's like, oh yeah, well, you know, my son is 6'4", and then he carries on with his story. And I'm like, why did you ask me my height? Like, where does that come into this story? You know, like, it's just weird. And then he tells me, anyway, there's just a bunch of stuff that isn't really adding up. And I feel like he was probing to see if I was racist at one point. And I was like, I don't like where this is going. And so then he stopped that story. And I don't know. It's very weird. So navigating to the link should put you into the replay that was shared. So additional features. No, so okay. This is actually something that I read about on Reddit that I thought was pretty interesting. Someone was asking something like, hey, how do people who are generally scumbags and have some philosophy that's scummy, whether it's racism or something else, how do they find each other and form these groups? And someone said it usually starts with some kind of probing question. So let's take a totally innocuous example. Let's say we're playing World of Warcraft and I'm an alliance player and I just hate Horde members. I might say something to someone like, hey, so I really hate it when I find, a bunch of Horde players out in the open or something. And if the other person responds like, yeah, I hate it too, then you start getting into the really heavy stuff. And I think that's what was happening in the car, but I wasn't responding to it. So he's just like, oh, okay, I'll just stop. But yeah, I don't know. It is a little scary. So additional features, maybe authorization. You can only watch a replay that was shared with you. This seems too code heavy for me to want to do. Hey Quando, first was good. I wrote just a quick summary here. It was fun. I think first was happy with my participation and the marketing value wasn't great. So that's how I feel about this stuff. Okay, so let's just start coding. So this is the time. So like 5 minutes for design. I don't even really count this with chat interaction. That's right, it's per second. I'll have to come up with an acronym for that. I got gifted subs apparently, so I have these for a month. Oh, nice, got it. Okay, yeah, so coding. So having attack replay show for a user would be nice. So I think the first thing we need to do is, hey Gooseman, we need to get attack replays to be downloaded. This may be super easy. We're about to find out. So it's something like get battle log, I think. Yeah, here it is. Where does this come from? Here. Okay, get replay brief information. Okay, we go find that. Okay, so we get what exactly? We get everything where you're the defender. But what if we got everything where you're also the attacker? So that would be, this is easy enough to do, but I don't know if we put an or here, how it's going to work exactly. Maybe we can just do like where raw. I'm not actually sure how that works. There it is, where raw. So how does this work? ID equals question mark. And then you put in 1. Okay, so let's copy that in. And we're going to say this equals question mark or attacker ID equals question mark. And then put in user ID, user ID. I think that'll do it. And that may actually just be the entire change, to be honest. So let's go restart this. And I gotta, oh, whoops, what branch am I on? Darn it, I forgot to switch branches, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, whoops. Okay, no, let's undo that for a sec. So I changed one line of code so far and I already messed up. So stash this, just I don't even need a message, it doesn't matter. And then we'll switch to the right branch. Check out master, get pull, it shouldn't be up to date. I never fetched. There we go. Now get checkout -b ad first prep. I'm gonna call this replays, I guess. Sure. And now we'll pop that stash and we'll go test it out. So these are gonna render wrong. Yes. Yeah. And then they're gonna replay wrong possibly? No, they won't actually. Yeah, so this is, who is this? Trons was the defender and this is me. So these are my bots. I must have something that looks like a horse over here. Do I? Where are you, horse bot? There you are. It worked. Wow, it was like one line of code. Wow, cool. Yeah, if you're paranoid, you have to do everything. Okay, so now we'll just render them a little bit differently. So the issues that we're seeing, this avatar is not correct. So we'll need to get that. that was done. This took 1 line of code. So get the avatar to show the actual attacker or the actual defender, and change text of replay log entry to reflect that you're the attacker. So getting their avatar, where do we even do this? I don't think we do this at all. Also, they may not have an account anymore. Let's go in the database. Okay, so describe matches. Yeah, we have the defender ID, and that should be, we probably got the attacker ID here, I'm guessing. We got the name because we didn't care about the ID. But this time, oh, there's the attacker's avatar. Where's that come from? Do we join here? We do. Ooh, cool. So what happens if we try selecting something and the defender did delete their account? Sure, I have one of those emotes indoor. Also, we should probably increase the limit here. Oh, that I'll do later. Also, where our outcome's not allowed. Match unfinished or match canceled. Actually, this would be a pretty cool way for you to know that you're already in a match. Show that in your battle log too. But let's just select a bunch of other things. So we'll duplicate all these and we'll just make these defender. And so now we'll have, this actually isn't really needed this way, but I'm gonna do this anyway. So we'll get both players' avatars for the matches. And now where does that get returned from? Battle log right here. DB matches. Hey Jesta, did it translate well to downloads? No, it didn't. And yeah, I'm gonna figure out if I can do something about that easily. And if not, that's fine. I'm still gonna do the events this coming week. Yeah. Okay, so we use this on the client somewhere here. And we get cosmetics loadout. Yeah, so how about we do this just for laughs? How about we change this to defender, 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 and just see what happens. So, and let's take a picture before, oh, it's too late. Okay, never mind. Well, let's not take a picture. Let's just refresh this. So now it should be the other player's avatar every time. So this should be Trons's avatar. So let's go log in as Trons. I find it strange that Adam streams on my day off. Oh, national holiday. What's going on? So my avatar is this. Oh, it's with the wrong colors though. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is correct, but we need the right color. So if I change this to whatever we get here, and I hit the check mark, we're gonna see that change over here at some point. If I just go back into this screen, it should refresh. Yeah. But it's with my colors, so we need their colors too. Easter Monday. Oh, you know what this means? It means the Easter candy is going to be on sale. I got to go to the grocery store today. Go to grocery store for candy. Nice. Yeah, this is like the best time of year, is a day after a holiday, where the grocery store, they had all these branded M&Ms and Reese's and all this other stuff. And you go in and they're like 70% off. That's right, Wads. Cool. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Bought 3 giant Kinder bags this morning. Wait, those eggs with the toys in them? Is that what we're talking about here? Why do people... Or is it just chocolate? Hang on, I'm looking this up really fast. No, Kinder Surprise is the one with the toy in it. One with the toys, 2 are just chocolate. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, I don't think I know what that chocolate tastes like. I don't think I've ever had that. But it must be good if you got 3 bags of it. unless they're for gifts. I was gonna say I'm not sure why you'd buy the ones with the toys in them. I'm not gonna judge you, just on the day format, that's all. So we get the attacker primary and secondary color. Yeah, so we just want to get the defender stuff too. In fact, we probably want all the defender and attacker stuff. So I got the attacker name, and then all of this was just attacker specific. So let's copy the colors as well and just change this here. Hey, CM Griffing. I was lurking in your stream earlier today. How'd things go? I see you got your transitions done. Hey, hit the road. Welcome, everybody. I also saw Playing with Scissors was the top cheerer in your channel, but it resets in 8 days. Not the best, you just wanted chocolate, and it was probably cheap, right? And hey, Goose, the second Goose, an FD God, working on configuration for the chat overlay. How far from complete are you on that? So anyway, anyone new to the channel, what I'm working on here is a game called Botland, and you can go to bot.land and you can find out a lot more. So I'll tell you about what I'm doing specifically for today. Today, I am preparing content for when I travel to Detroit in 3 days. And that content is going to be live streamed on a nonprofit channel called First. And I did this last week too. I'm a little tired from that. And so we're kind of just making sure I've got enough content for that day. So generally, I'm supposed to be on the hook for 2 hours of a Botland stream. And what I originally thought was that 30 minutes would just expand to fill that 2 hours because of chat interaction. But it turns out chat is not very engaged for those streams. So it turns out that 30 minutes actually turns into something like 25 minutes because by preparing, I get faster at it. So we've got to do enough stuff on that day so that I don't feel like, okay, well, what should I work on next? You know, I got to just have that planned. So that's what we're trying to figure out. And I'm working through a task right now, but I'm doing so in my tired state. And I know that it's going to go much faster on that stream. So we're just going to figure things out pretty much. So where are the colors here? We have cosmetics load out, but we don't have colors showing. I guess because those get used here. Yeah, primary color and secondary color are passed in. We got to override these. I guess 80%, but the last 20% will be a doozy. It always is. You do the first 90% and then the second 90%. One thing led to the other. Yeah, I see. So you're calling CM Griffing a sellout. That's fair. It's definitely fair. Okay, so let's try something here. Let's do replay info dot defender primary color and secondary color equals. Wait, no, I don't have to do anything here. It's deleted. Oh, so I can just use this if I want to. So I guess what I should know is who, is this you or is this not you? Let's just hard code it for right now. If replay info.defender ID, do we even get that back? We don't. We get their name back. Well, let's just select their defender ID then too. Yeah, there. And let's restart this. Drama Sands is gone? Why is that? Oh, you're saying on my stream that it's a respectable font? I see. I'm really calling Chris out today. Not on this stream. Yeah. Ah, gotcha. Playing with scissors. Gotcha. So defender ID equals 1. We'll just hard code this for now, and we'll just say something like replay info dot like player is defender equals true. So now we'll just change it to this. Did I delete Kit's Botland account, or does he get to play with all the cosmetics without having to pay for them? Oh, that was on my local account. So yeah, on production he doesn't have anything. Also, I wonder how Kit feels at the end of all of that. Because I didn't get to talk to him on the last day afterward. I just went to bed, pretty much. I like called my family. I talked to them about everything. And I was like, okay, peace out, world. And went to sleep at like 10:30 or something. But yeah, I wonder if he feels like, yeah, that was good. A lot of people joined in. And by the way, I want to thank you guys again. You guys were really talkative on that day and kind of, you know, welcoming new people and everything. That was really good. I appreciate that a lot. And I did see some of your comments, but I felt awkward commenting on them when there's a live audience because they couldn't see chat. So if I'm like, ah, good joke, Leftist, or something like that, that it would just be like, what is he talking about? So that made me feel a little bit strange. And on Friday, I just kind of stopped. So I'm going to change this stuff really fast. We would do this differently at the event, of course. But I'll say something like if replay data dot player is defender. Well, if this is not true, then we'll say attacker secondary color equals this. Except for I meant to set it like that. I could do this on the server too. I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention, to be honest. Okay, let's try that out. Let's see if that works. Oh, wow, it did. Wait. Wait. I'm kind of confused right now. So some of these, I'm going to be the attacker. I don't know what's going on. Let's just drop the ones where I'm not this. So let's just say return div hello. So now some of these should go away. And the only ones left, so there are two. This can't be right. This definitely can't be right. Jesse, I think, look, it's a fair question from the kids who were asking of like, hey, here's a technology that seems like it might be a better fit. Because they're not like seasoned software developers. If it were someone on the stream, I'd be like, okay, you're trying to be a jerk or something. But I think that was an honest question. I will say the second day, I don't know if you saw that Q&A or if that was when the stream was offline. There was only one person asking me questions, and they were kind of pointed questions. I don't know if you guys heard those, but there were things like, you know, are you worried about vendor lock-in? But it was in a very kind of leading way about like, you locked yourself into a vendor. But it's still a fair question. I mean, I'll answer all this stuff. I'm not offended or anything. Oh, you did see that. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, all those questions were from the same person, and I assume they're a software developer already, or they wouldn't be asking those kinds of questions. And it's always tough because you as a person presenting, you don't know why someone's asking a question. It's not always for knowledge. It's sometimes to show that they know enough about software development. And that's kind of weird. I don't know why that person had asked. Because, yeah, I think if they were curious, they might have phrased it as something like, what do you do about vendor lock-in, perhaps? Hey, Cosmo. Anyway, so what I'm trying to figure out here is these avatars are my avatar. And that means that this probably is not working correctly, which means I probably overrode the avatar that gets used no matter what. Oh, I did. Whoops. Oh yeah, let's do this here then. So if, actually I'll say player is defender is equal to this. So if player is defender, then we'll set the cosmetics loadout. This is not going to be an accurate time of how long this takes. Oh well. Because if you're the defender, then we want the attacker's stuff. Otherwise, we want this. Yeah. There. Do you have a VOD? So the VODs are all Twitch. Actually, I already have it on my chat buffer, I think. Let me take a look. Yeah. Here it is, Krasner. There are 3 different VODs, and you'd have to search through them to figure out kind of which one's which. He's robot land deaf. Yeah, like Freak Technique said too. Yeah, why aren't you using blank? Yeah, this happens a lot. And I always think that the answer is kind of unsatisfying for the person asking the question of like, I'm not using it because it didn't fit my needs, or I tried it and I didn't understand it, or something like that. And honestly, even asking the opposite of that question, like why are you using blank, is still sometimes maybe not exactly right. At least for getting whatever you're looking for. I think it might be something like, I don't know. Sometimes open-ended questions are good. I'm really just rambling. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm kind of out of it. All right, so now if we get rid of that hello that I put in here, we should have all the avatars showing up correctly. So the only ones that were actually me being attacked were these two, apparently. So if I click this one, we'll actually see those colored bots, yeah. And this is against my defense. And same thing with the one that was two beneath it. So this one, my defense must have changed, yeah. But then every other one is an attack replay, where it was me playing against somebody else. So this is actually pretty cool, because we never had this ability before. Hey, Dr. Cactus. There's just so many options, like it's exactly the same point. Well, so I will say this. If you're new to software development, you wouldn't know that that's the case. There may be something that you're not aware of, and that could be anything. And so I think it's still valid questions, but I think that the only time it's not a valid question is when the person is asking in order to show off what they're doing or why they're using something. Then it's not a question for the sake of seeking knowledge. Hey, Avery Hierarchy. All right, so next we'll change the message for this, I guess. Or should I even do any of that? I guess just proving that this is possible is really all I need to do. And I can just fix these problems on stream. Yeah, I think that's good. So now we have attack replays. Let's just change the color of them so I can tell which one's which. Do I have a way of doing that easily? Class name, here it is. Yeah, so we'll just say something like class name equals... If the player is the defender, then what we already had. Otherwise... Oops, that should have been styled. Otherwise, it's going to be, we'll just put a 2 at the end. I just want to make this easy. There. So now we'll go find this and add a second one. And the second one will have a background color of a very faint kind of pinkish color. Let's just figure it out here. Where's the background color? Okay, so we don't want something like that. We want it to be closer to white. Maybe even like that. Fee. There. Let's see how that looks. When is alpha? Oh, first? It's going to be on Thursday and Friday. And it was this last Thursday and Friday as well. Okay, so there we go. Now we have that color behind this, but I didn't mean to put it behind the avatar. I meant to put it somewhere else, because this is just in render avatar. Yeah, whoops. Okay, well, let's copy this to the place I meant to put it, which is probably in just render. Or does it render? It's got to be either in this or in landing nav log entry. Yeah, you missed the first one. The second one is coming up at the end of this week. Oh, that's lurking. Okay, gotcha, Cactus. It does feel rude not answering, but I'm not saying from my point of view. From your point of view, I've been in the same position and I feel that way. And I'm always like, I don't really have anything to say though. So I know what position I'm putting people in when I'm like, hey, how you doing? And they're like, I'm gonna ignore that. So yeah, I think I want to change this, landing nav log entry, and I think they all have the same class right now. Yeah, here it is. So we could pass in another prop here. We just say something like render special equals something here. Replay data dot is player defender. Yeah, good. And then we'll change the class based on that. So render avatar can change a little bit. Yep, so let's go back to what it used to be. This stuff will go over to here. We'll put in like a render special thing. And then in this, we'll just change this a little bit. So I'll just call this something like pink background. There we go. And then put this in here. So we'll say styles.pinkbackground is this.props.render special. Okay, I think that's it, right? Is it? Did it work? Did it the opposite way, but it kind of worked. There. So now we'll have, and it's probably very hard to see, but these are like slightly red. And then some of these are a different color. Maybe we should have done it the other way around then. Maybe I should have said that this is going to be blue in the other case. So pink background or blue background. So RGB. And I'm not a designer. I'll need to say that on stream for sure. So we'll say this will be pink background or blue background. And that's going to be the opposite of this. Hey, Ikfez. Yeah, so now we can kind of see the difference here a little bit. This is slightly blue. This one's slightly pink. Although, like I said before, is actually probably just a bad thing to ever say, because unless you were there for the original question, it doesn't harken back to anything. What's less? Less is what I use for CSS here. It's a CSS preprocessor. Anyway, cool. So now all we would do is change the messages on these. I don't actually care about that. So unfortunately, this is an incredibly expanded time that we got here, but it's, yeah, so it'll prior to using sets. I know you're kidding. It'll probably only take like 10 minutes. So at this point, we've spent maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And now the next step would be that there should be a share button that gives you a link. I guess what we're realizing is that none of this is impossible. I wonder if I should even do anything else here, or if that should just be it. Navigating to the link should put you into the replay that was shared. So putting a share button that copies a link, all we need is the ID of the replay. And then pasting it in somewhere and navigating to it is adding another route. Yeah, I think this is all doable. I'm just gonna write conclusion. This seems pretty easy to do, but it may only take 30 to 45 minutes. So I need to come up with another task that's gonna take 30 to 45 minutes, or another 2 tasks for that. So lost in this huge list of VODs. I can try to find it for you. I wanted to write this in my final write-up that I had. So they're the most recent ones that we have here. So these 3. So I'll link them all to you, but it won't be at the right times or anything. You'll have to find those. And the right times are actually going to be multiple, of course, because I was on multiple segments. So there are the 3. Hey, Geek. You find recording everything down easier to come back to the project? Yeah, for sure. I think that it's been really helpful. What level do you think the audience were at? Were there a lot of confused faces? So what's kind of interesting, I've streamed for long enough now. It's been close to 5,000 hours where I've probably heard all the reactions I'm ever going to hear. So there are different classes of people. There are people who are coders who know JavaScript, coders who don't know JavaScript, new coders, non-coders, and they all have different kinds of reactions, right? So some non-coders, something they'll say is something like, wow, this is way over my head. I'm pretty lost. So I've heard that sort of thing before. I'm sure people in the audience thought that too. Then there are non-coders who are like, I have no idea what's happening, but I'm really intrigued. So yeah, same thing probably happens there too. New coders are probably like, how do I get to this, doing this, or Twitch streaming or whatever else. So the audience having confused faces, I think, is going to be a given for any content that you do, even if it's like, this is the very first thing you should do as a coder. Let's say I was just writing hello world. They might still be like, I don't know what's going on. And hey, Neft, what do you use as a term for coder, Neft? Do you prefer something like programmer? Have you ever thought of adding some type of resource to Botland like Clash of Clans, so you have to farm materials to buy defenses and stuff? I mean, that exists in the form of Botcoin, but I don't know how Clash of Clans does it. But no, I don't think I'm going to add anything else. Hey, Jalapeno, is the target audience coders and non-coders? The target audience is just basically like kids who are interested in STEM in any respect. So whether they've had experience doing it, whether they are just totally uninterested and are watching the stream, the goal from First Perspective was to inspire kids to get into STEM. And the goal from my perspective was accomplish their goal, of course, but also market Botland. So you'll get all sorts of audience members, and you'll also have different ways you would talk to them if you were talking to them one-on-one. And so I just try to cover kind of as much as possible. So every once in a while you saw me be like, here's what I do in Visual Studio Code, and here's how I might get this to work or something, or here's a, I don't know. I tried to give as much knowledge as I could during that time. So anyway, like I said, we did the first part of this. I think the next part that we would do after this is the, where did that straw poll go? The next part is this, which is reaction messages when you've been attacked, selected through the battle log. And I think the simplest way for us to do this, if we are going to tackle this right now. So yeah, let's do the start time here. And let's do the design a little bit. So I think we can just put a drop down next to the replay button when you're the defender that lets you pick an emoji or something like that, just some message. And then if you're the attacker, fetch any message that may have appeared. I think we'll do that. $343. Oh yeah, so the command, yeah, I'm gonna try to link to different things when I do that write up today. I think enough people are gonna ask me like, hey, how did first go, where having that command will be really helpful. So yeah, this sounds pretty reasonable to do here. In order to do the code for this, I think what we're gonna say is we'll add a database table. Well, we could add just a column, I guess, to the match that has like a reaction. Yeah, add a column to the matches table with something like defender reaction, and then as a defender, fetch that message and then just render it. So there needs to be APIs to add API to set that message for a particular match, authorization. Yeah, this sounds pretty straightforward too. In fact, this might just be all of Thursday's content that we do. And I don't even see a problem with adding this. I wonder if I should plan anything more than that, or if I should just say, look, I'm just going to go off the rails here and do what I think would be necessary and we'll just figure it out. Honestly, that might be the best, because I don't know if I want to do any more than this. That way, any bugs we run into, we just solve there. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be tough. So I'm just going to write conclusion. I'm not going to do any of this ahead of time so that hopefully it fills more time on that day with more real coding. Now, the only issue is that, and yeah, so I know you'd suggested this before, Hideo, that you'd go without planning anymore, but here's the problem that I could run into. So when I added multi-missiles on the stream, it took something like 15 minutes, right? Then by planning it, and ended up carving it all the way down to 5 minutes. It was hardly any time at all to add that, and it was super fast. So what I'm worried about is I planned this first one and I said, oh, it might take 30 to 45 minutes. Now the second one, what happens if it takes 15 minutes? You know, I have a 2-hour block and I'd have done roughly like 45 to 60 minutes of that. I don't want to get to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to do now. Yeah, so get a backlog of work items. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I need to do. And that's, I guess, what we're still going to try to plan to do today. So we went through every single one of these first suggestions, right? I did these 3 last week, and then these 2 I said I'm going to do on Thursday. So then after this, maybe we could try something like, single player content. And maybe I literally just write this down as like, here's a feature. In fact, maybe I just put all 3 of these there and we do what we can to get that to work. Yeah, I guess I could do that. In which case, I don't think there's too much more to plan. So a 5 versus 40 match. I guess let's just check the feasibility of this really fast. So I have the tutorial that can put you into battles here. So if I click something like this, it puts me into a game where there are 3 bots on the defense. I wonder if I could do this more. You're planning into them too much. Just have ideas and plan once you get there. Well, so yeah, I agree, I think, but I do think that some planning needed to have happened. And the reason why is because this very first one that I got to requires another feature to have been coded for me to do it. But the amount of planning to figure that out is pretty slim. So yeah, I think maybe I just stop at that point. Hey, Tartico, add dark mode to what? To Blockly? Because I feel like that would be more Blockly coding than Botland coding. Had some form of agenda beyond knowledge. Oh, you wanted to see that specific. Okay, got it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, maybe. You know, like I said, it's hard to tell. I'm pretty sure they were already a coder though, because vendor lock-in is not the kind of thing you'd ever learn as a college student, I think, right? Like, well, maybe you would, but I don't think it's the kind of thing you'd talk about as a college student. Line up some juicy bugs that you can walk them through the process of debugging, etc. Yeah, that could be done too. That's on the list of things on this straw poll. I wrote bug fix bonanza here. Just fix a bunch of just quick or small bugs. That would be, this would be something that, unless I turn it into story time, I think it would be probably pretty tough to do, because fixing bugs is a lot of investigation. And the investigation is hard to talk about without explaining what I'm investigating and why. So what I could do instead, I could go through any of the bugs that I did fix, and I could talk about how I came to that conclusion. But like I said, that's story time, not so much going through it and figuring it out for myself at the point. Yeah, you might teach vendor lock-in, but I don't think students would be talking about it as like, oh my God, this is a difficult problem, we need to solve it. Because I think until you're bitten by it, which wouldn't happen until you've maintained software for long enough to be bitten by it, that you just be like, oh, I heard that's a problem. But you probably wouldn't ask a question to somebody in an event like that. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I just started using Blockly at work to allow people to modify configs. Yeah, it's not too bad, Lycan. Yeah, that's the experience I had with it too. As I thought, I don't know what it's going to be like to do this, and it turned out to be like, oh, just mostly drop it in, write some APIs. Okay, so wait, what was I just saying here? I was saying the single player content. Yeah, so I want to see what happened when I added in. So we have like tutorial, what's it called? Place bots or something? Place bot. Oh, attack intro 2 is what it was called. And there was something here that says which bots we have. I don't know where that goes. Yeah, I don't know where that goes. Something that enters a game here. Yeah, I don't remember this. I think if we search for this though, we'll find it somewhere. Yeah. Gotta be here somewhere. Tutorial data. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's probably fine. Huh, where do I put these 3 bots in the game? Well, actually, wait, what do they have in them? They have missiles 1, armor 3, and regen 3. Okay, so let's search for that. Armor. Wow, I don't remember how to type this in. Armor colon 3, regen colon 3. There it is. In fact, here it is altogether. PvE scenarios. Yeah, so what if we just put another deploy here? I think this would break. So where are these positioned? There's one at 9.5, 9.3. So let's set the other one to 9.2. And now we have 4 bots, but I don't think this is going to work because I think there's some validation done here. Reason I also think overplanning is not needed is so that you don't need to be on point and they're okay with that. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's less work for me to do, to be honest, beforehand. But it's a little bit more pressure when I'm there, that's for sure. Oh, nice. We did get a 4th bot. So then it ignores the constraints for this. So if we wanted to put in 40 of these bots, we could do that pretty easily by just pasting in a bunch of these things. In fact, let's try that out. Let's just put a wall of bots from like here all the way over to here. I don't know what's going to happen, so it'd be interesting to see. So we'll say times, and we'll say we'll put in 40 bots. Yeah, so return new deploy information. Okay. So we need to figure out what coordinates to put them at. So tile x equals 5, tile y equals 5. And what do we want here? We'll put them from, let's say, how big is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the height is 9. Column's height equals 9. So we'll say tile x equals n divided by 9 plus 2, or n divided by height. And then tile y will just be n% height, I think. And then we just delete these things. Let's try that. Nope, well, I messed up the syntax. Hang on a second. Yeah, there. And I think that should work. No, because I messed up something else too. This. There we go. Yeah, so let's try this out. Cool, okay, that worked. So we put 40 bots down. Now let's skip the tutorial and try attacking this. This isn't really testing a whole lot, to be honest. I just want to see if this crashes on me. Huh, it didn't. Wow. That's pretty cool. I mean, granted, only being able to put in 3 bots against this means that there's no chance of winning. Oh, now I can only put 1 bot in. It died. Use Cloud Former to auto-generate it. Oh. Well, Jesse, if you need any help, I got notes on Terraform. Hey, Oopsurf, and hey, Yushin. Try to see if you clear the board, what happens? What do you mean? Oops. You mean if I hit the clear all button? Because that's just for the bots you're placing down. I could just make these less powerful or not give them a weapon or something. So instead of missiles 1, I could just give them nothing. Oh, kill all the enemies. Oh yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be possible. You can't win a 3 versus 40 in bot land in that scenario, I'm pretty sure. Maybe you can. But anyway, this will make it easier now. I just removed their weapon. So now as soon as we attack, we're guaranteed to win. So I'll just put on whatever the heaviest hitter is, this. We'll put down a few of these, and they should just tear through these bots. Yeah. Okay. So that works. I know it's going super fast because I have it set to 32x speed. But yeah. Yeah, SLI. Yeah, only noobs can't. Oh, also, darn it, I called Fletcher King earlier. Fletcher. Because I didn't have a note written for them. Oh, I failed them. No, yeah, I failed them. Okay, well, too bad. Is there a timed element to each round? Sort of. There's a certain amount of turns and there's a certain amount of simulation time that can come into play. But if those turns take a long real time to play out, that's not gonna come into play at all. So let's make a new script here that's literally just zap and then melee. Or zap and then figure it out. Let's not even do anything else. There. And then we'll put these down and these will kill them even faster because they'll do area effect damage. Yeah. And if I even swap that out with a regular zapper, it would go faster still. But at this point, we're not testing anything. I'm just having fun. Which I still think there's value in showing that at the first event. Because I think showing that coding can be fun is important. I could do a lot of silly things with this, but I'd kind of have to improvise a lot. Yeah. Okay, well, that's provided here. So I could set this up so that you get more bots and you can try to like hard counter them, but this would just be a fun way of filling in some time. So to fill in some time, we can set up a 5 versus 5v40 match in the tutorial. This doesn't take long at all, but it may be fun to mess around with. Anything else? I mean, I guess the vision indicator was the other thing that we had. I'm just worried that a lot of these features to prototype takes so little time. Yeah, so I guess we'll say like backup tasks. So add rubble to the arena. We'll add vision indicators to the selected bot. Or maybe just to all bots. And then, what was that? C#. Was that gifted? And then do the 5v40 match. Okay, so I'd like to have a couple of other little backup things that we could do. The ability to start an unranked match. This is really simple, so I don't think that's going to be worthwhile. Of course. And then import and export Blockly scripts would just be a way of adding a couple buttons into the game and having a way of getting the XML out of it. So we can add that in here too. Import and export Blockly scripts. So those are all my backup tasks, and I guess if Thursday I get done with all of this stuff, then I'll start tackling those, and then I can come up with more backup tasks for the next day. You know what was really, really nice about Friday of this last week is that the first hour was regular coding, and then the second hour was teaching Kitboga Botland. That was really nice because I didn't have as much to do for this, and I like not having that kind of pressure. I think that was important. Yeah, just talk really slowly. The first hour was awesome. Well, thank you. Oh, so it was Thursday and Friday, but the Kitboga one was on Friday. Will Kit be there this week? No, he won't be there in Detroit. So I could say, hey, can I get someone else on stage? I guess we'll just say like other ideas. Get someone else on stage to play Botland, like how Kit did. I'm already packing. All right, so here's someone who knows nothing about Botland, and I'm going to show him the game. So, Hideo, tell me, do you have any coding experience? No, Adam, none whatsoever. Certainly don't know anything about date formats. Okay, then you're the perfect candidate. We'll start you with Blockly. Gonna fly EJ out for fun. So I think it would be cool to have someone from the stream there. But yeah, I think there's a lot that would go into that. So I'd maybe get another host or something. So this is an idea. I think another idea is talk about the blog posts that I've done, maybe. Or like kind of present on Visual Studio Code. So talk about extensions. Talk about why I think learning your OS/editor is important. Might be the perfect candidate. My wife wanted to travel with me, Pro Sam, but I was like, you're going to be bored. There's going to be nothing to do there for you. But yeah, actually that would be really entertaining, I think, if I had her on stream. She'd probably be super nervous, like super nervous. Not because I think she'd be bad presenting or anything, but just because she's never been on my stream before. And I think having it be streamed is like a completely different element. It's super something today. Hey, Ziwa. Yeah, I saw you in the chat for one of those. I didn't get to say hi to really anybody on stream. So present on Visual Studio Code, I think this can be done. I'm going to just kind of harvest my blog for any other ideas that I might have. I don't think there's a whole lot, to be honest. Like OS and editor efficiency, yeah, that's what I would talk about. Organizing notes. Actually, I could talk about that a little bit. So we could say like general coding knowledge. I haven't said what my wife does for a living, nor do I plan on that. Sorry, Jack. Yeah, there are some things that I like to keep private. So present on Visual Studio Code, maybe talk about the importance of organization and what I do with my notes. Just show OneNote and share the link too. Yeah, social security number, I'll whisper you in chat. That I can share, but nothing else. There's no way to go to all the posts? Well, that kind of sucks. Yeah, that definitely sucks. Because if you have to go to archives by date, that's pretty lame. I guess there aren't that many here, so we'll just take a quick look. So this is already written down, that's all. Visual Studio Code, yeah, we have that written down. Growing pains doesn't matter. Organizing your notes with OneNote. I think this can be pretty helpful for people. I might talk about that. Yeah, this doesn't matter. Being a development streamer on Twitch. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. Maybe talk about the Botland journey. This could be actually pretty interesting. Maybe how I got to where I am. And yeah, actually this could be really good. I'll talk to the executive producer about this. How I got to where I am and what decisions I made. Share the recap videos maybe. He wanted tutorial on how to type using a piano. Actually, that was a question during one of the Q&A panels, was what's the funniest thing you've ever programmed? And I was like, oh, I have the perfect idea for this. For anyone who hasn't seen that video, by the way, it's there on YouTube. It's that third link in the thing I just linked in. It's the typing with a piano video. And this is what I did for April Fool's Day. And it got a decent viewership, actually. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, so I've got these ideas. I'll run this by the executive producer. And I've got some backup tasks and stuff. I think I'm kind of set for this. So then I guess the only thing I want to figure out now is what should I do for tomorrow's stream? Maybe plan the botland journey talk and then later adapt that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to do anything too intense. A jet setter. Only for these 2 weeks. Then I think that's it. Actually, that's one of the things I was talking to Kit Boga about. So for those who don't know, I'd be actually pretty surprised if you haven't seen Kit Boga at some point, because I host him all the time and because he's way more popular than I am on Twitch. But he's a scam baiting streamer, and he started doing GTA RP recently. He does coding streams on Sundays. And I was talking to him about how, like, what he's doing, I think, will be in demand for a while, like going to these events. And he has an audience which is universally appealing for anyone trying to push something, which is like, you need an audience for that. But for what I'm doing, I'm a programming streamer, and I'm almost exclusively a programming streamer. The other things you've seen me do has been 1% of the time on the stream. And that's actually not an exaggeration. I think it's roughly 1%. So I wondered, what could this lead to as a career choice? I wonder. There are certain things that are kind of obvious, like giving talks, giving presentations. But what about the streaming aspect of it? You know, this last event that I went to, it was a very unique experience in that they said, look, if you just do your normal botland content, that's totally fine with us. But I don't think that would be desirable from probably any other organization. Maybe if they said, hey, we want you to do live coding with our product and you'll have your audience there too. But at that point, I don't know why they would fly me out somewhere. We're talking about a hypothetical company now, not any specific one. And hey, EJ. Most talks I see are tech heavy. Do you think there's some value? Because what happened at the first events, for those who didn't see, Thursday and Friday, there were 3 different things we did. We did a Lego build, we did a robo hardware, and then robo software. And these 3 things, Kit and I did not have any experience with this stuff. So they sat us down and they said, like, hey, here are some Lego blocks and here's a task and go figure it out. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. So I can imagine someone might say something like, okay, here's a new product we have, like let's say GitHub when it was first made. Here's our API. Go just mess around with it. See what you like. Hey, Tartico. Oh, you actually were already here, but where's the link for the panel? So I have the VODs. Those are the 3 individual VODs. I don't have the specific timestamped links yet. I plan on doing that later, hopefully. Think about the potential of live coding all the time. Lots of constraints to consider. How to make it interesting for someone who tunes in halfway. Yeah, that's actually a really difficult one in particular, because you can produce all the resources in the world, but people are going to have to go use them at some point. So whether you show something on your screen, whether you have a command in chat, whether there's a YouTube video introducing it all, you're still going to find someone who's like, I don't want any of that. I want the streamer to talk to me specifically and just point your finger all over the camera. Hey, Ann Perry. Yeah. Where do you get your energy, King? I am much more subdued, I think, today than I am normally on the stream. You want the streamer to point at me? Let's see. Hang on. Let me think about this. That is north. So you're roughly over there, EJ. And hey, Malmsey. You probably did. I'll still welcome you back. I saw you were working on your stream today. You've got a lot more viewers than you used to have. So congrats. I don't know if that's from mixing the streams of Dank Memer and your personal one, but good job. I didn't actually get to tune in, by the way. Leaking my exact vector. Actually, that's true. Sorry. And now people would know that you're roughly in that direction from me, which actually does narrow it down to very few places. If I'd pointed west, that would have been incredibly obvious. You don't live west of me, but there's very little that is west of me. NodeJS challenge, try writing a function that reverses an array without using the reverse. Try golfing the number of characters down to a minimum. Oh, Fulk, I'm not gonna do that, probably. Oh, nice, Melmsy. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And by the way, props to you for that. But did your partner's channel go away in your Discord? I tried finding it to show someone the other day and I couldn't find it anymore. By the way, at this point, I don't know what's going on. I'm still not sure what we're gonna do tomorrow on the stream, and I'm pretty sure the stream for today is gonna end very soon. So, and then I'm gonna go do some work and just try to have a grip on things pretty much. So if anyone wants to stream Botland in the next like 5 minutes, let me know and I can host you. Otherwise, I'll host somebody else. Yeah, sorry, I know the uptime for this stream is really, really low. Oh, you had it hidden since April. Got it. Okay, I should have pointed that out to you then. Yeah, work, lol. I'm wiped out from last week. Just wiped out. And this week is going to be pretty tough too if I don't conserve some of my energy, which is why the streams will be pretty short and I'll do some post-stream stuff. Like I'll go deploy the app today. So I guess let me check my following page. Let's go find somebody to host. Nice sellout hoodie. Actually, you know what? I should really just host Kit. Yeah. I owe him. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Again, sorry for the short stream. Tomorrow will probably also be short. And then Wednesday I'm traveling to Detroit. And then Thursday and Friday I am going to be streaming from Detroit. So it'll be just like last week. But thank you guys again for all the support, especially for the event last week. It was really nice. I'm glad I got some good feedback from that. And I'll try to improve stuff for this coming week too. So take care, guys. I'm going to leave you with Kit Boga. I'll see you on Discord.